without a shadow of a doubt. It's the Cronkite Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another edition of the War Zone. I got my good friend Donovan Sadiq in the building. We got the Queen Demetra K, and my man was hot as fish grease last night. We had to bring him back for round two, man. Make sure you got your big girl panties on and your big boy boxers on tonight. We talking real money. Walter Coulter is in the building. So y'all better get ready, man. If you broke, you're gonna have to get the hell up out of here. Say, man, I want to welcome you to the War Zone, and I want to thank y'all for tuning in. It's been a very, very eventful day on my side. It is. I'm locked and loaded. I'm headed to Tulsa. I got to go kick it with Big Daddy Trump and my Republican homies, and I'm gonna see if I can get me a Make America Great Again hat while I'm there. I love hats. I'm kicking it with my peoples. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go there. But the crazy part is when I leave Tulsa, I might be going to Seattle. I might be going to Seattle, man. Because we got to put the War Zone in the thick of everything, man. So I'm gonna turn this over to the Queen. You can go on and get it started, mama.
So hello, everybody. I hope everybody is well. And so again, we are here with Walter Coulter, part 2 from last night. It was very insightful. A lot of people were interested and learned a lot. Kenitra, she says, I made $3 in stocks today. All right now. So today we want to aim a little bit more to answer some of your questions. Now, if you see somebody has kind of asked the same question that you've asked, maybe try to ask something differently. But Walter, you were going to talk to us about stocks today. Is that correct? Or just going to take more of a general approach? Want to answer some questions?
Well, I want to answer some questions, but I'm okay. I think I'm more prepared tonight to talk a little bit about the stock market, give you a little bit more detail. So I'll talk a little bit about the stocks. I'll talk about, and then I can talk about some general wealth building ideas to kind of give you a teaser, a precursor of what it will look like when we do the Zoom, if that's okay.
No, that's
well, we talked last night, me and Walter. So the class is actually going to be June 27th. That's a Saturday, and we're gonna do it like we normally do the regular show. So we won't have the show. We'll be in class trying to learn how to make money. It should be about a 2-hour class. The cost is $25, and you can cash app Walter at $WalterLeeC1. You can best believe he gonna have my money before this show is over. I'm not playing. I'm serious about this, man. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ms. Demetra, but June 27th, my man finna show me how to invest my money that night. I'm going in, man.
All right.
And so I was going to say, Donovan and we are going to be working the comment section like we did last night. If y'all want to chime in, we will. So Donovan, before we get started, what say you?
Hey, I'm all for it. That show was hot last night because people were contacting me and how to get in contact with Walter. When is the class going to be? Gave somebody some tips on how to open up a stash app and navigate through it. So, I mean, that's the whole key to the whole thing, especially for us being Black people. Start where you're at. Just getting started is the hardest part. But once you get it, once you understood what was going on, just like that, she was on her own.
Awesome. So we'll give it to you, gentlemen.
Well, first of all, you're giving people, they want to know if they can cash app now or later. I mean, I'm cash apping them today. I'm not finna play with this. That's how serious I am. You can cash app them your money. And what we'll do, we'll create a spreadsheet because we're only taking 100 people in this Zoom class. That's it. I mean, we getting so many hits. We only taking 100 people in the Zoom class. And I think that day it should be 100 people ready to invest something so they can make some money. You know, so if you ain't in the class, you ain't gonna get none of this money. I get it for you though.
So, and I'm actually, and tonight I would like, if I can get feedback from the three of you, I'd like to keep this as interactive between the three of us as we can. So let me, if I can just kind of, let me hit some of these comments real quick, and then I'll kind of get into what I was going to do. So real quick, somebody's asking, is Acorn a good investment? So I think Acorn works for collecting your money. I don't know about investing in the company Acorn, but as far as anywhere you can put money and save it and build, I think is good as long as you can track it and you know where it's at. So Acorn, Stash, there's a lot of these apps that where you can spend money and they'll send money the difference somewhere and save it. I think it's a good idea to put money at this point. Just start saving it, right? Even if it's in the bank, just start putting it somewhere.
And see, for me being like a new person to all of this, that's why this class is so important to me, because I want to learn how to do it from the ground up. You know, that I want you're gonna teach me how to go look for what I want, you know, and buy the type of stocks I want. And you can't learn everything in one class, y'all. So if he decides to do another class, I'm gonna be in that one too. Because like you were talking last night, we talking stocks, we talking options. I mean, a lot of this stuff is like French to me. So I mean, I know when I was in French class, they were saying ooh la la one day, and then the next day I ain't come to class, and the third day I ain't know what the hell they were talking about. So if you miss a class, you're gonna be behind, man.
Well, so let me jump to some of these questions. So I answered the Acorn question. The Cash App is fine right now. I don't know what GPay is. I'm sorry. I think that's Google Pay. I don't know. So how about options? We'll get back to that later. Okay, great. So let me first start by saying one thing. First of all, what you guys need to do, and if you can jot this down, find out where you stand. I'm gonna tell you, when I was working with Kanye West and all the celebrities and the guys in NFL, the first thing I did with all of them, I don't care where they started, is tell me where you are. So I draw a T-chart, and right now I'm going to give you some ideas, some things. If you do this, you'll be better off. Is make a T-chart. In the left column, you want to write down assets, A for assets. On the bottom left of that T, you want to put L for liabilities, right? And then on the top, and Donovan D, you guys I've done this with both of you. On the top right, you want to put an I for income, and then on the bottom an E for expenses. And then what I normally tell people to do is put all your assets in the right. What do you have? Save, be it in the bank, 401k. See, a lot of people don't know if they have money in the 401k, 403b, 457, profit sharing. They don't know. So what I like to tell people is, how are you going to manage your money if you don't even know what it's doing? Do you know how many people have money in the 401k and they have no idea what's in the account? So you telling me that in 30 years, this money is going to take care of you, but you have no idea what stocks you own in your 401k, mutual funds. You don't know if you're getting a match. Can you get to it at 50, 60, 55? Is it going to offset your Social Security? You have to know this stuff. So start in the left-hand corner. Is what do you have saved? And then under that is liabilities. What do you have? Like your mortgage. Like I just jumped off the phone with someone, and Gary, I'll tell you about it. It was actually a pretty cool day. I think you'll be happy. Is on the left-hand side, put your liabilities. Like if you have a mortgage, what are you paying? How much do you owe? What are you paying per month? Right? If you have a mortgage, what's your principal? How much is going to interest? How much is going to, Melrose and property tax and insurance? And do you have property mortgage insurance? You like all these things. Like, do you know what you're paying for? And then so all your liabilities, put your credit cards, how much you owe, what you're paying every month. For your credit cards, your car payment, what are you paying? How much you owe on the car? How much are you paying on it? You see what I'm saying? So on the left side is assets up top, liabilities on the bottom. Because are you the type of person that has $10,000 in the bank that's paying you 1% a year? So think about this. If I have $10,000 in the bank and I'm making 1% on it, how much is that per year? I'm trying to think. Damn, it's $100, right? And I can't hear the two of you. So that's $100. Time divided by 12 months is $8 a month. So you're giving the bank $10,000 to hold, so they can give you $100 a year, which is 1% or $8 a month. That blows me away. But that same $10,000 in credit card debt is costing you $300, $400, $500. Some of you guys is costing you $700, $800 a month. And if you have one of those, crazy loans or one main, or you know what I'm talking about, some of these loans are 30% interest. So you borrow $10,000 and then you're going to pay them back $45,000, $50,000 when the loan is due. So do you have $10,000 in the bank and you're earning $8 a month, but do you have $10,000 in credit cards where you're paying $400 a month? It sounds like to me, if you just use that money in the bank to cancel the credit card, you would make $392. That's simple, right? And then people say, well, I don't want to be without money. Well, leave the credit cards open. So if you need money, you can go to it. But doesn't it make sense to have it there and not need it? See, this is how rich people think. You know what I'm saying? You could do this with your car payment. I had someone call me a couple days ago. They was like, oh, my car payment's $800. I was like, I'll slap the shit out of you. How is your car payment $800? I said, if you're making $15,000, $20,000 a month, you can have an $800 car payment. She goes, what makes me feel good? I said, how do you feel not having money at the end of the month? You know what I'm saying? Is your car nice enough to live in it? So you have to look at your assets, liabilities. And then you jump to the other side real quick is income. What do you have coming in? Are you bringing home $5,000 a month? And out of that $5,000, let's say you gross $5,000, but you only get to keep $4,000. Are they taking, money out for taxes that you get at the end of the year? Maybe you could raise, you can raise your deductions and get that money now and do something with it instead of loaning it to the government for 12 months for free. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or maybe you look at all your income. Some people have money that's out there to be made. Does your employer offer extra benefits that you're not claiming? You need to look at all that stuff. So look at have your income on the top right, and then on the bottom, your expenses, right? What do you spend eating out? What do you spend? All these subscriptions, Netflix and all these things tend to add up. So write down everything that you're spending money on and then see where you stand. And then you'd be surprised. You make $5,000, but you spend $6,000. You can fix a lot of that. So that is that I would start right there. Unfortunately, you guys, most people won't do what I just said. They won't. And they'll just suffer. That you can do for free. Know where you stand. Does that make sense? So let me jump, and I'm gonna the options we're gonna cover in the end. Is that okay toward the end? We did with the options and the stocks, so I can get some comments. I hear a lot of people talking about Forex. You guys, honestly, Forex, I don't mess with Forex. That's for like the big boys. And when I say big boys, I is for income. Don't mess like Donovan could do Forex, but he got money to lose. Like I don't feel like losing money like that. Because I still to this day don't understand Forex. I see the commercials and the YouTube and all that. Those guys are selling you classes and you pay them $1,000 and they be gone in the wind. Like foreign exchange and all that. Why don't we start with something that you have control over, right? Because most of us Forex is just it's out of here. It's too risky, right? Now, again, I'm going to come back to the stock options. Somebody said, "Damn, I agree." Right? Eyes for income. Okay, so while I've got some time, let me address the stock options. So Gary, let's say me and you, we see this house, right? And this house is $200,000. And I talked about it last night, but I'll reiterate it. The house is $200,000. I don't want to spend $200,000 on the house, but I want the house. I want to benefit from it. So let's say I go up to them and say, I love your house. I tell you what, I'll give you $200,000, but I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to give you $10,000 to hold right now, and you give me 2 years to control the value of this house. So for the next 2 years, the house at $200,000 is mine. I can sell it or I can buy it at $200,000. What you do then is you control that house for 2 years. If the house goes up to $300,000 in value, you could sell that house buy it at the same time, no money out of pocket. They give you $300,000. You pay the $200,000 you owe minus the $10,000 you spent on the option to control that house, and you get $90,000 all day long. This is what banks, Wall Street do. They, in your life insurance policies, they do this. This is complete leverage. I know me and my son, we use stock options all day. You know, who was that? Tupac, I think, said trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. That's how you do it. You take 15 cents and you make it work like $1, right? I'll give you another idea. So let's say, Donovan, I go and borrow one of his mini cars, right? And I say, Donovan, I tell you what, I like your car. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you $200 a month to rent your car. But I turn around and loan it to somebody else for $600 a month. They give me $6. I cut $2 off for Donovan. I keep $4. So when you look at stock options, all you're doing is you're buying the right to control a company. I'll give you an idea. Yesterday Wells Fargo has been in the news, right? It's my favorite stock. This is not necessarily a stock tip, but it's something that I'm doing, right? So I know Wells Fargo, they've had their issues and they're big. Wells Fargo's big in oil companies and auto lending. So Wells Fargo is not performing as well as like Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and some of these other banks. So what I did is I looked at Wells Fargo's stock price, and it's, it went up today. If you're in the market, it's Wells Fargo went up. So yesterday when it crashed, I bought stock options at like 44 cents. 44 cents. And what that says is they're going to give me the right to control Wells Fargo for all the way to January of next year. And they gave me, I believe I got an option or a strike price at 42. Here's what that means. Right now, yesterday it was at 27. For 44 cents, I bought an option to own Wells Fargo or to be able to sell it at $42. Now, if Wells Fargo goes to $50 and I have the right to buy it at 42, it goes to 50. I sell it 50, buy it at 42, no money out of pocket. I get $8 minus my 44 cents. I get to keep $7 and whatever that is, $7.56. Does that make sense? Here's the crazy part is you don't have to wait till January. As the stock price moves up, the option price goes with it. So that 44 cents that I spent yesterday, today is worth almost 85 cents. You see what I'm saying? So now when you buy stock options, you have to buy 100. It's called a contract. So you have to buy 100. So one contract is 100. So 44 cents times 100, which is one contract, is $44. Does that make sense? So I went to eTrade.com, opened up an account, and when we do the seminar next week, I'll show you how to open up the eTrade. We can walk through how to do it because they ask you questions about trading and options, and you want to be able to answer them right. So I gave them $44 today. It's worth almost 90. Period. Now, those of you who know me know I didn't put in $44. It was a little bit more than that. I'm greedy. I'll tell you, some people eat out. I buy stock options. I know how to cook, right? So and then you can buy those options yesterday. And you guys see, you have to invest when things are rough. Period. That's it. So yesterday, the stock market, the Dow Jones, by the way, you guys, the Dow Jones there's three major indexes on the stock market. There's the Dow Jones, which is only 30 stocks. They take 30 stocks. It's called the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So Dow Jones, those are the two old dudes that created it, right? And then it's an industrial. So they take all different industries and they take the average of all those industries. So take all 30 stocks, add them up, cut them up. You get the average price. That's the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is somewhere around 25 to 26. It changes every day. That's the Dow. Then the NASDAQ is a bunch of technology stocks. They add them all up and to get the average price of all of them, and that's the NASDAQ. And then the S&P 500, which is if you have life insurance like the Index Universal Life, if you have a 401k, you have those index funds, those target dated funds, they use what's called the S&P 500. two old dudes, Standard & Poor's. They take 500 of the largest companies in the U.S. that have stock that trades on the stock market, period. So it's 500 of the largest publicly traded stocks. Publicly traded just means that your stock is being traded on the stock market. That's it. So when I take Cornucopia public, it will be publicly traded, which means the public can trade my stuff, period. A lot of people get rich doing just that. So the Standard & Poor's or the S&P is just 500 companies. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when they say, oh, the Dow Jones is up today, they're just talking about 30 stocks. That's it, right? I know Boeing is up there. Don't matter of fact, Boeing is one of the big movers of the Dow Jones. When they say, oh, the Dow Jones moved up, 1,000 points, it probably means Boeing moved up 20, 30 points, right? Don even knows what I'm talking about. So you look at it that way. And sometimes when you look at the markets, like yesterday, it was down 1,700 points, but that was only 30 stocks. Do you see what I'm saying? Or the S&P. So you don't want to get too freaked out, but you do want to use these as an indicator. Yesterday, the market crashed. And I'll tell you, the best thing that can happen for me when I'm investing is for stuff to crash. So here, let me give you another idea how stock option works. And I hope I'm making this plain, right? So let's say I have this Toyota Camry, right? The Toyota Camry was worth $10,000. And then it got to an accident. And now it's only worth $3,000, right? Because it's been wrecked. Do you realize that an insurance company first of all, they'll cash you out. They take that car to an auction, a junk, one of these junk auctions, Coparts, and they have them all over the world in Dubai, California. There's one right here in Riverside, California. And then what people like me do, or business people, they go out and they buy these cars for $3,000. They put $1,500 into it and they sell it back for $8 or $9 all day long. Now, if I was using an option, what I could say is, hey, man, I tell you what, I like that car. I'm going to give you $500 for the right to manage this, to keep this car in my possession for 6 months. I'm not going to pay you the $3,000. I'm going to give you $5,000. But what I'm going to do is in that meantime is I'm going to get somebody to fix the car, fix it up, and I'm going to sell the car for $10,000, and I'm going to give my man his $3,000. Does that make sense? So stock options work like that. So if you like IBM, Apache Oil is one of my favorites. AIG and Boeing and Wells Fargo are my three largest holdings. Let me kind of give you some fun information. So let me give you an idea. Let's say you bought a stock option for 50 cents, right? And you wanted to buy 100 contracts. That is what, $50, right? So if you took at 50 cents, how many contracts, and it was at $50 a contract, how many contracts could you buy? Right? If you had $1,000, you could buy 20 contracts. So let me give you the math. I'll kind of give you to why I wake up at 2, 3, 4 a.m. as of late, right? So, and I'm going to jump on my calculator. So I'll just give you this. Let's say, for instance, right, I can buy for $50, I can buy one contract or 100 options on Wells Fargo, right? So, and let's say I have $1,000. So how many contracts is it? So what is that? So that's 20 contracts, right? Take $1,000 divided by 50, that's 20, right? So you have 20 contracts, and each contract is 100 options. So if you take 20 contracts times 100, so for $1,000, you have 2,000 options. Does that make sense? So for $1,000, you have 2,000 options. Wells Fargo, let's say it's 50 cents. If Wells Fargo moves from $27 to $50 and it does it soon, that stock option could be worth $10. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the stock option moves with the value of the stock. So stock options have two things. One is called intrinsic value. One is called time. You ever hear people say time is money? Well, in stock options, time is money. The longer you have before that stock option expires, the more it's worth. So a January option is worth more. A January option of next year is worth more than an option this year in August because you have more time. So time value. So right now, my Wells Fargo option that I bought at 44 cents, that's now 85 cents, is the time is worth 85 cents, right? And from 27 to 50, or to 42 is still a ways away in stock price. But as the stock price moves and gets closer to the stock price, it becomes more valuable because it's closer to hitting the price. And then once the stock goes over your strike price, so if I have the right to buy Wells Fargo at 42 bucks and it goes to 43, I'm 50 cents over my price. So I'm 50 cents in what's called intrinsic value. So if it's worth 40, if I have the option to buy it at 42 and the stock is 50 bucks, I have $8 in intrinsic value plus whatever time I have left. Does that make sense? Go for it.
Let me ask you, so can you explain to the people whether playing, because that's what it is, playing the stock market is a long-term or a short-term game or both?
Okay, so, well, you talking about taxes.
Playing the stock market. So let's say, I'm new in the stock market and I want to make my money right away. Would you recommend me doing that? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people...
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you need the money right now, don't put it there. Because, first of all, if you invest in stocks, you should have, if you're buying stocks, that money should be there for at least 3, 4, 5 years. The cool thing with stock options is you're investing a smaller amount of money. So, if I take 50 bucks and I buy a contract or 100 options on Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo doesn't move, it's 50 bucks is not going to affect my life. Does that make sense? So stock options allow you to put away money that you can afford to lose. So if you follow me on Facebook, I'll say, okay, here's $100 today. I can either put this on, buy these options, or I can go have sushi, or I can go whatever. I don't know, right? Get a massage, do whatever, right? Give it to a homeless guy. I can do something with it, or I can invest it. Now, you can buy stock options for 2 days, a week. Today, I did something that was against the grain. Is I actually bought a stock option for Boeing to go down, and I bought it for 1 week, right? Because long term, I think Boeing is going to go up. But I know I watched Boeing go from 120 to 230 to yesterday to 170, from 230 to 170 in 2 days, back up to 185, and that's when I turned off the TV, right? And at 12:59, 1 minute before the stock market closed, I bought for $1.50, somewhere around there. I bought stock options for Boeing to go down. And I think I bought the Boeing 150s or 140s. So if the Boeing goes down and my stock option, my exercise period, or when it expires, is June 26th, either June 19th. So I have 1 week for that option to expire. So if I wake up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Boeing goes from 185 back down to 160, then my $1.50 could be worth 10, 15, 20 bucks. Does that make sense? And that's, so you can do it that way too. Go ahead, Dee.
So I want to ask you guys, if you guys, have some general questions about, it could be a personal situation, or, anything maybe that you, a question that you may have need answered financially or something like that. So I know a lot of times when we talk about stock, and I know everybody's learning something, it kind of goes, right? And so let me ask you this. If someone is in debt, now I'm not talking about mild debt, like a couple of credit cards here and there, nothing major. Someone is in debt. Do you recommend them participating in the stock market or paying off their debt first?
Well, so that's a personal. That's when you talk to an advisor and find out what your goals are. So I'll give you an idea. If it depends on your debt. Let's say I have a credit card debt, and let's say my interest is 10%, right? I have to think, is that credit card debt killing me? Is it stopping me from functioning? Number one. Two, could I put that money somewhere else where it can make more than 10%? So you got to understand, when you buy a house on a mortgage for investment purposes, you're okay paying 3 to 4% because you think the house is going to make you 8 to 10, right? So debt is good, if, in my opinion, if you're going to use it properly. I have no problem paying 10% on a credit card if I know I'm going to make 50% on the money. That's what banks do all day. Banks, you give banks money. You realize when you go to the bank, right, they give you that soft paper. You know what I'm talking, that agreement that you always read. We always read the agreement. What they're saying is, every time you give us money, you are creating a contract with us to borrow money from you at this percentage. And then we are going to loan it out a million times, and we're going to do stuff to it. We're going to do stuff with it. So every time you make a deposit in a bank, you are loaning the bank's money, right? And so then what they do is they turn around and loan it out. So what I tell people to do is, you be the bank. If you want to borrow money at 10%, like the best time to borrow money would have been in March when the stock market crashed. If you were going to do something risky like borrow to invest, which is really risky, by the way. It's really risky. But like, some of those times you just have to do your research. You go, okay, things are going to get better, right? So, and I know someone who, and she borrowed 50 grand from her mama and invested it in the stock market. Right now it's at like 270. She gonna give her mama 50 plus a little interest. She might give her 55. She gonna keep the other 200 something thousand. No money out of pocket, and she's walking away with 200 grand. You know what I'm saying? And this is a conversation I had with her. I said, hey, you have me shut my window. I think NASCAR is in town. So if you can borrow money and do the right thing with it, then it makes sense. But it's risky though. I want to be upfront, right? It's risky, but like, I'll tell you, man, this market and this stock market, I heard a guy on TV today. He goes, this is a black swan, or one of those terms. He goes, you guys, you're probably never going to see this again, because we've got the banking financial stuff under control. The virus, and I'm going to say this, and you can email me the hate later, but the virus, financially speaking, was the best thing that could have happened to some of us. I'll tell you, those of us that were ready, I mean, whew, Lord have mercy. Donovan's over there shaking his hand. Like, really? Like, and I don't want to put too much of my stuff out in the street, but like, when the virus hit originally, I went, oh, shoot. My company, we had to take a break. A couple of the companies that I run, we had to shut them down completely. I didn't enjoy doing that. And I was sitting on my couch. I was smoking a cigar, right? That's why I love being alone at my house, because I can smoke a cigar, right? So, and I was sitting there and I was just thinking like, okay, where's the money that I'm not seeing? Where is the cash? And you have to do that. That's why I think, along with investing in other things, you have to do other things to get yourself ready. Like, I meditate a lot. I'll be in the shower for like an hour, and I don't always do that because that's irresponsible water-wise, but once in a while I'll just sit there and just meditate. I walk through my day, or I'll take a walk, or I'll do the dishes, and I'll just sit there and go, what is here that I cannot see? So when the virus hit, instead of most people panicking, I just sat on my couch and I just meditated there, and I just sat there and I went, okay, you know what? Where's the money? And then I thought, oh shit, the stock market is going to crash. And so, I took whatever money I could get. I sold what I could, dug in my retirement account, you name it. I think I sold the TV. I mean, I took all the money I could get and I dumped it into the stock market. I ain't gonna tell you how much money is in there, because I don't know if you're friends with my ex-wife, but I can just tell you, for every $5 I put in that account, there's $35 right now. So you do the math. So if I put 50,000 in it, it's 350 today. If I put 100,000 in it today, it's 700,000. All right, you get to do the math. So, and the stock market, it hasn't even really rebounded yet. Right now, we're still like in oh, what's going to happen with the virus? You know, like I heard somebody say, white people, they don't wear masks. They just out doing the thing. Or, you know, people like, they're not what the virus, in my opinion, is. I don't know if, you know, what I think is going to be a vaccine, right? And because what's the name? Mnuchin, right? Came out and said, we're not shutting the economy down again. Basically what he said is, I don't care who gets the virus. We're not shutting down the economy again. So we can't afford to do that. So what that told me is the economy is going to keep moving, right? Now, I know there's some local governments that are probably going to try and like shut things down for a little bit, but they don't have that kind of power and they don't have the money. So right now, I know that as soon as the virus or a cure or even a treatment hits the wires, the news wires, the stock market's gone. What I don't want to do is be that cat that's sitting there and I turn on the TV and they're like, we found the cure for the coronavirus, and the stock market doubles and you sitting on the sidelines. You don't do that to yourself. You know, some of you guys have car payments. If you thought you had a chance for the next 6 months where you can invest $800 a month and put $5,000 in the market, and that $5,000 could be $50,000, you may just have to, you know, what's his name? Teddy Pendergrass. I think he said, let it go, right? Some of that stuff you got to that's the other part of financial planning, is just you have to be able to let stuff go, period. And then if you're going to buy stocks, and I'm seeing some of these comments, people are talking about certain stocks and certain things. If you're going to buy stock, just do the research on it. What I do right now is when I buy something, I look and see where it was in February, right? Because February is when the stock market got, you know, when people found, we got the point that the virus was here. And then it was March when the things just changed. I think March 14th and one of those days was one of the worst days in stock market history. Apache oil was trading for $4. Right now it's on the way to 20. And I remember that day, and I was sitting here and I was going, shoot, man, the world's falling apart. And I said, you know what? I'm going all in because I know it's going to come back one day, and Apache's on the way to $20. Now, so 4 from 20 is $16, right? So you put in 4, you put in 6, you made $16, right? You know what happens if you put $4 in stock options on Apache? It's 100. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how it works. So you just have to get involved. You know, I don't want to say steal, but I was going to say beg, borrow, steal, but you get the point, right? Some of you guys have, here's a tip. Get rid of your storage, right? Some of you guys have stuff in storage. Every month you are buying those clothes all over again. I dated a girl once and she had storage and she had dresses and shoes. I said, girl, I'll slap. Are you out of your mind? You have stuff in storage? So basically you bought these dresses and every month you buy them again because you're paying for storage. She goes, well, I need those dresses emotionally. I said, I don't even know. I mean, you're still friends, right? Get rid of the storage. Like if it's in storage, you probably don't need it, right? Me and my sister have the luxury of being in a house fire one time. It didn't seem like a luxury at the time, but I learned a lot from that house fire. I remember sitting on I was in my drawers too. It was a bad day for the neighborhood. And I went in to run into the house, and my neighbor, who was a fire captain, grabbed me and said, don't do that. He goes, that's where people die, doing what you get ready to do and for stuff that you can replace. And so I remember sitting on the cement. I was in tears. I was crying. I was like, man, could we just furnish that house? It was brand. We ain't been in that house 30 days. Brand new furniture, everything. It was nice and all gone. And I just was like, and as I sat there watching the flames, you know, burn the house down, and I was sitting there thinking, I go, you know what? There's nothing in that house that I need, right? My pictures and my, you know, that stuff is way in the corner of the house, so that's probably safe. And I go, there's nothing I need in that house. I can buy it all over. And we did. We bought it all over, right? The point I'm making is if you have stuff in storage, let it go. Some of you have $1,000 in storage that you can put in stock options, and next year it could be $50,000, right? Don't play with this. Just cash out. All right. What else? I'm not seeing the comments, you guys. I apologize. They've stopped on my side. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Okay. And if you guys can help me with these, that would be cool too, because I'm not really seeing them as much. Oh, is Robinhood good? Robinhood is good for buying stocks and holding them, right? I don't know. Do you guys trade options in Robinhood?
You buy the stocks, and the same thing with Stash. You actually buy the stock.
So Robinhood and Stash, those are good places to where you can put stocks to hold them and leave them there. Robinhood is not the place if you want to buy stock and sell it right away. That's not the right place because Robinhood crashes sometimes. And what's happening now with Robinhood is a lot of people are putting money in Robinhood and it's crashing the system. So, you know, if you're going to use Robinhood, just be careful, right? If you're going to buy stock options, do it inside of an E-Trade, Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, you know, somebody that actually, you know, where you can do the options. Somebody said, is Carnival Cruise good? Yes, I own a bunch of Carnival Cruise. I know Donovan does too. You guys, here's the thing. Think about addiction. All those geriatrics, and me too sometimes, and I'm close to being the one, they love to cruise. So people are going to go back to those cruises. They're going to go back. People say no one's going to fly. Let me tell you something. Right now, I'm looking at I can see planes leaving the airport. A month ago, I saw one plane a day. Do you realize I've been hearing airplanes take off all day? So the airlines, and if you looked at American Airlines, it was $10 last week. It was $20 a couple of days ago. People are flying, right? People are going to do things that are addictive, traveling, flying. You know what I'm saying? They're going to gamble. So I just bought the things that people want to do because they need to feel better. Does that make sense?
Tell them about what you did in regards to your house to make money. Because you said you live by he lives like a 10-minute walk to Ontario International Airport. So tell them what you did.
Oh yeah, and actually it's 6 minutes walk, and I've walked from the airport. People, you see me walking down the street with a suitcase on a regular basis, right? Because Uber take too long. So what I did with my house, I have 3 bedrooms, and my kids come and they stay on the weekends. So those 2 bedrooms, when they're not here, and I haven't done it in a while, but I would Airbnb it. So right now I'm in a house, right? I'm doing a lease to own. So me and my landlord, same thing. I'm doing the option thing with him, right? So I have 2 extra bedrooms. My kids are here on the weekends, and sometimes my other kids come stay. And right now I got baby stuff from my Titus. His stuff is in one of the rooms, but I rented them out on Airbnb. So for me to own this house or control it or live in it, it's $2,200 a month. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's brand new gated. It's a pretty decent place, and it's down the street from the airport. My Airbnb, I was making $2,500 a month on Airbnb, so I was living here for free, right? And so I just thought to myself, what could I do to live for free? So when people say, well, I don't want strangers in my house, I'm like, well, these are people coming from the airport. A lot of people that use Airbnb are travelers. I didn't even see most of them. Most of them came in at midnight and left at 6 a.m. for the next flight. But I know I was living for free, right? Another thing I did, I got solar panels on my house. See, if you're going to buy a house or move into a house, make sure it has solar panels on it. My utility bill is $800 a year. And I run the AC all day. I got 5 TVs in this. I'm not on some Negro, like stuff. I have one for each one of my kids and one in each room. So I like to watch the stock market in every room. I like to know what's going on, right? So I run my TVs, my AC, I run everything, right? It's 72 degrees in my house every day because I have solar panels, so I don't have an electricity bill. You know, so things like that. There's things like Turo. Question.
And tell them how often you travel due to the money you save.
Well, as of lately, I haven't really gone. I haven't been on a plane, but like once or twice since the corona showed up. But I tend to like to leave the country at least twice a month, at least minimum. Like, I'll give you an idea. I live in Southern California. I drive to Mexico once a month when it's open. They have wineries down there. Airbnb is $20 a night. If you want to be on the beach, it's $30 a night on the beach. They have wineries. And see, people think, oh, Mexico, be careful. Let me tell you something. When you cross the border from San Diego to Mexico, it's paved, brand new roads. It looked like San Diego. So we drive down there. The wineries, they have 200 brand new wineries because the Italians moved in and built all these beautiful wineries, right? Make California look like the hood. And I like to drive to Mexico. I try and leave the country, at least on a regular basis, and then I try to go to Europe, Spain, or one of these countries at least once a month. I leave the country to go to a foreign country, be it Croatia. And you guys, it's actually pretty cheap. You can go to. I went to Italy, right? So, geez, what was this? Italy, Croatia, Montenegro. For $2,200 for 14 days. All the airfare, all the rooms, a lot of the food, everything, $2,200 for 14 days. And that was last minute.
Stop, man. Stop, man.
Oh, man.
Stop, man.
You want to talk about travel.
This mother. Yeah.
But no.
Man, let's hurry up and finish. I got some money, man. I need to holler at you.
So, and part of what we do at Cornucopia is we tell people how to have a good life and how to afford it. See, a lot of you guys could travel, like you need to get your passport. When you go to Spain, and when you go, I know you guys went to Africa last year. I'm excited about going to Seychelles and Ethiopia, find my wife and all that stuff, right? I'm just playing. You get the point, right? But it's beautiful when you leave this country. When you land, like, I'll give you an idea, right? So we went to Croatia where they filmed Game of Thrones. They have the castles and all that stuff. It's when you get there, it's so cheap. You can eat for $3 or $4. I remember going to Sicily, and for $4, I got a pizza and a glass of wine. A whole pizza and a glass of wine for $4.
I can't even get a whole link of boudin for $4.
That's what I'm saying. What's up, B? Crazy. Cornucopia spelled Cornacopa.
And I would say this too. I want to throw Donovan in the mix because if it wasn't for the coronavirus, Donovan wouldn't be in the country either. But Donovan also does a lot of the things that Walter's talking about. And I think the key I want to kind of throw in here to everybody is being frugal and being a minimalist. A minimalist is one that doesn't have a whole bunch of a lot of stuff. Like, for example, he mentioned, the ex-girlfriend with a bunch of dresses. It's like, how many black dresses do you actually need? He got one body, right? How many pair of black shoes do you actually need? So you minimize the things in your life so that you can actually go do what's important. A lot of people, have these big giant monstrosities of a house, but it's 2 or 3 people living there. And so they're paying these big giant mortgages and, all this electricity and all the upkeep for the house. And it's like, well, we don't even see the other half of the house ever, unless, maybe we have a guest or something. So it's about minimizing the things in your life so you can maximize, having a better life. They're really just a peace of mind and having more peace in your life, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Can we invest in the weed? Is the weed making money? I know it's making money at the trap house around the corner, but can we do it the right way?
Yes. I own Aurora Cannabis, which is a top 10 stock on Robinhood. Aurora Cannabis, if you watch CNBC, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, they talk about Aurora Cannabis all the time. Right now, Aurora Cannabis is kind of hanging out. But here's the good news about the weed companies. Aurora Cannabis, Canopy Growth. Like right now, Drake has a deal with one of these companies. Drake the rapper. Put my money in the crate. That's never mind. That's a long story. He has a deal with these weed companies. So and I heard that on CNBC. So I said, wait a minute. So Drake is investing in marijuana because he's Canadian. I went, okay, that's going to work one day. I don't know how long, but you guys, Aurora Cannabis was trading at like 70 cents. It was $10. Now it's like 70. They did a reverse stock split. I think they went like 12-1. So, right. So, and Donovan, you follow Aurora more than I do. So
that's what they did.
Yeah, they did a reverse stock split. So they made the stock price by taking that 70 cents times 12. they made it bigger so now the people can see it, right? Because it's a penny stock. Nobody was paying attention to it. And so right now it's at like 13, 14 bucks, which is the equivalent of a little bit over $1. But Aurora Cannabis, you guys, was $10 or the equivalent of 120 bucks. And so I think I bought, I don't know, right now I have 100,000 options in Aurora Cannabis. If Aurora Cannabis triples in price, it's going down. You guys, some of you guys right now have the ability to build a retirement account overnight. I mean, it's crazy. Like I remember before the virus going, you know what? All right, I got some money saved. I got some work to do based on my lifestyle and wanting to have a house in 6 to 10 countries. So I got some work to do. But when this virus showed up and I threw all my stuff into the market, and this is money, you know, that I had sitting around, it changed my retirement picture. I mean, I'm not gonna put my business out there, but I can tell you, I feel a lot better. A girl told me today, you have a pep in your step. I said, I got more money in my pocket. So people say money's not everything. That's a lie. So if you got $500 to invest in $100 a month, can you buy? Absolutely, it works. I told somebody this today. You could start with $500. You could start with $100, but it's best to start with as much as you can. And then you could add to it. E-Trade, Stash, Robinhood. Well, if we're talking about stock options, you know, E-Trade, that's going to be probably one of your best bets, right? So it's just, at the end of the day, even if you open up an account, we'll do this on this class, and then put money in it, you can, when things happen, you can put money into it. See, yesterday, so to answer your question, yes, marijuana stocks I like, but you just got to be in it for the long term, period. So if you have money sitting around, like me and you have this conversation, put the money in your brokerage account, your E-Trade, your Ameritrade, or whatever it is, because what you cannot do, or you can, but it's tough to move money and invest it that second takes, you know, it's tough. You have to already have an account established. So it's good to have money sitting in the account right away. So some people say, well, what if I need the money? Put it over there. And if you need it, pull it out. But what you don't want to do is have the market did what it did yesterday and you can't buy. Yesterday, man, I'm telling you, people are making money right now. And what's happening is people are getting in the stock market and they don't know what they're doing. And then they get in one day and they get out the next, and then people just taking their profits. Don't do that. If you're going to get in, stay in. That makes sense. So what else? And I'm going to try Amazon and Tesla. I can't get on with those. Amazon's just too high for me. You know, it's on the way to $3,000, and I know Donovan bought it when it was $6. But because when you buy stock that's $3,000 and it drops 10%, that's $300. I don't feel that. Now you can buy stock options in Amazon, but in Amazon, will it be $10,000 one day? Sure. I just don't know when it will be. Tesla was at $1,000 and $1,050. Today it's like $900, on the way to $800. It moves. If you're gonna buy Tesla, do the options, and that's a whole nother class, because I trade Tesla stock options, but it keeps me up at night. So stockpiling, yeah, you can buy fractional. Like Fidelity has an account now where you can buy fractional shares, right? And a few people are doing it where you put an amount and then they will divide it amongst stocks for you, so you don't have to buy a whole share. So you can buy Amazon that way. That does work, right? Somebody said I've had a stash 2 years. That's cool. Just open an E-Trade account. You know, like Gary, you said, put on your big boy draws. Open an E-Trade account. That's where the professionals are. And here's the thing with E-Trade is I get Bloomberg television for free. They have charts. I mean, you can sit there all day and just learn. Somebody said to me, Walter, why would you spend all day on the stock stuff? I said, let me get this straight. Yesterday, I made $10,000 in the stock market, and it took me 4 hours. And you went to work for 40 hours, and you made $2,000. Who's the dummy? Not saying you're a dummy for working, but like, you have to look at this thing in the overall picture. Education is power if you use it right. See, do I enjoy waking up at 6 a.m. and watching the stock market? No. Do I enjoy watching a bunch of people, tell jokes and try and be funny? No, but I enjoy the knowledge. Today, Sandy Wow, from the guy that ran American Express, was on there, right? I've seen billionaires come on and they tell you, well, here's you want to know where I get my stock tips from? From them. Billionaires come on. This guy, Bill Ackman, he runs this large hedge fund. He goes, here's what I'm buying today, and I'm buying everything. And I bought what he bought, right? I bought Sabre Technologies because one of the guys on CNBC goes, here's what I'm buying. I bought it. And I doubled my money in like 3 days. So it just, I listened to the pros. Go ahead, D.
And I was going to say, to your point, because, like I said, reading and getting knowledge and watching things, Warren Buffett, he said, or actually it was a month or so ago, he snatched all of his money, all of his stocks out of the airline. And what happened to the airlines stocks? It went down a lot. Well, it went down a lot.
Well, at first.
Right, at first. So the point that I'm making is, Warren Buffett obviously is a billionaire. Listen to those people, because when I heard that, I was like, okay, it's time to buy. And now what are they doing? They're going up.
Oh yeah. Warren hooked us up. Warren, he made a business decision. Airlines are in crappy condition. So airlines went down. Oh Lord. The next couple of days they crashed. And so I bought a bunch of them. Like American Airlines hit $10 after he did that, like went down to $9. And I originally sold all my stuff when he did. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, they're on the bottom. So I bought all the airlines back, and American went from $10 to $20. And I ultimately ended up selling American Airlines because their books are in bad shape. But like, I took the money, right? So somebody said something about white folks. I didn't see that. Was that you? You crazy. So now let me get to some of these. Somebody said, what's the point of fractional shares? Well, you don't have to buy the whole thing. A fraction, like mutual funds, work in fractional shares. Those of you who have money in mutual funds, which means we get together mutually as a group and give somebody money to manage for us. That's a mutual fund. So your 401ks, your work plans work like that, right? So fractional shares work because you can own a little bit of a company. Somebody said Wynn Hotels. I'm not investing in Wynn. They have a lot of exposure in China and Macau, and they're getting hit pretty bad. If you watch the news today, Wynn Hotels they're struggling. What I did is I bought Caesars, MGM. What in the world? Oh, Lord have mercy. I bought Caesars, MGM, the stock options on that. I think I was in Vegas last weekend, and the hotels were packed. The ones that were open were packed. The pools, everything. People gambling, it was packed. And I walked into MGM and I was like, you know what? Actually I stayed at the Bellagio, which used to be, well, without going into the details, it was $99 to stay at the Bellagio. So if you've ever been to the Bellagio, it's the cream of the crop on the Vegas Strip. They got the fountain there. So the hotel was $99 a night, right? I use my points on my credit card, but still it was $99 for the, everyone else. Anyways, you get the point. People are going back. So I like those hotels. What else? I like the oil companies, Apache Oil, Schlumberger, what is it? XOP. Oh my God. Donovan, you probably know what I'm talking about. I get to the point, I just know them by stock ticker. Right. So Halliburton, remember Dick Cheney and the Republicans, right? He owned or controlled Halliburton. They're the ones that went into Iraq, started all that trouble. Or if you watch the documentary, you get it. I said, Dick Cheney runs or is involved with Halliburton. The good old boys are not going to let Halliburton fail. That's their boy. So I bought a bunch of Halliburton, a bunch of stock options in Halliburton, because the oil companies got hit the hardest because they got hit with the whole. Remember that the Saudi Arabia and Russia were fighting? They got hit there, and then the coronavirus showed up. They got hit 2 times. And so I bought as much as I could of the stock options on the oil companies. And those oil companies, I tell you, those things, like Apache went from $4 to almost $20. When's the last time you bought something and it grew 5 times in 2 months, right? And oil still has a long way to go. I do believe that those are going to really do well. What else? Yeah, right. The Gulf War, biotech companies long term, because the biotech companies right now, the medical companies are at an all-time high because they're all fighting for the virus. If you're gonna get in those, stay in. USO, Oxy Petroleum. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. The USO, I own options on. I have a bunch of those. Oxy Petroleum. Yes, those are oil companies. The USO, they're responsible for holding the oil and maintaining it. What else? Yeah, so Halliburton, that was a beautiful thing. There's still room to go on it. It's just going to be long term, right? What else? Apache, that's one of my favorite ones. I'm telling you, I love it, right? Here, somebody just brought up a good point. The government, Donald Trump said, we will buy the oil and hold it. When he said that was like him saying, these are my friends, I'm going to take care of them. It's going to be great, right? Whatever he says. Donald Trump was a mess, man. Anyways, so that's it for the questions. What I want to do is kind of go in. Gold and silver, I don't mess with that stuff. Gold is at an all-time high. People tend to run the gold when things get rough. I have a saying, thou that catches a falling knife shall get cut. I don't like to buy stuff that's at its peak, right? Because as soon as things open up and then things get better, gold is going to fall in value. And right now there's a lot of multi-level marketing companies and people doing oil, gold, buy gold and do this. That's fine, but just be okay losing some of it, right? You buy gold when the stock market is flying, when the economy is doing well. People tend to leave safe stuff like gold and bonds, and they go to the risky stuff. So that's when I would buy gold, when things are doing well. When things get scary, people buy gold. They have this false belief that the gold is backing the U.S. economy, which it's not, right? Richard Nixon got rid of that a long time ago. So what else? I want to, what questions do the three of you have? And then I want to kind of go over some of my notes really quick.
None. I'm ready.
All right. So I want to kind of talk about, I want to give you guys sort of a teaser for the class. Somebody asked me today, is it better to have your own business for tax purposes? The answer is yes. So I'm self-employed. I have my own business. When I do my traveling, when I go to Italy or whatever it is, Mexico, Bahamas, I write that off. I claim it on my tax deduction. So because I have my own business, when I go to Europe, or like when I went to Greece, it was a fact-finding mission. I went to Greece to see how people live so I can compare and see if is it a safe place to live when people retire. So one thing I do in Cornucopia is we help people who want to relocate, right? So like let's say you live here and you retired and you have $1,500 a month, right? From Social Security. Can you live in California on $1,500 a month? No. And I'm getting kind of tired of getting in the car with 85-year-old Uber drivers, right? Falling asleep. I had one damn near die behind the wheel. I just think it would be better if he moved to Portugal where you could live for $1,400 a month and be middle class. See what I'm saying? You can move to Mexico, Cancun, Mexico, get a house on the beach for $400 a month, period. And I mean, wake up to the sound of the ocean for $400 a month and walk to 200 restaurants and you name it.
Say, man, you say $400 a month
on the beach. I'm talking on the beach.
$400 a month.
And you guys are closer to Cancun than I am. If I lived in Florida, I'd be in Cancun every weekend.
Well, if people would just realize when Dimitri and I went to South Africa, we were there for what, 11 days or something like that? We probably spent about $300 in food and dining and wining and dining, and I was tipping everybody. So, I mean, there's a lot of places you can live versus staying here and just, surviving, so.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned Thailand earlier. Oh, I love Thailand for all kind of reasons. Let me tell you. If you like black women, you will love Thailand because they look like them. Oh man, I tell you. And you guys, I know for the people on here tonight are predominantly African American or black people. Like, they love us around the world. You should understand that, right? Like, when I went to Italy, it was almost like some people wanted to take my photo. I thought was weird because they don't see black people traveling. And here's the other thing, you guys. Once you go out, get your passport and take one trip. Get on a plane, land in a foreign country. Like when I went to Naples, Italy, I was scared as hell because it was chaos, but I got the hang of it. And then I thought, you know what? I could do this, right? I remember, going to, to the Middle East, to Dubai for the first time. And, I was with my girl. I was like, hey, you know what? Make sure your dress is below the knee, like no jokes. You go to Dubai, they have a line for women and a line for men. They have trains for men and for women. I accidentally got on the woman's side. I saw, I see 10 women on a train. I was like, that's my side. But I'm just being funny. But like, once you go, you'll be addicted to it. And when you people that travel are wealthier because the experiences they appreciate more and they learn more. And you guys, Dubai is cheap. Like for $100 a night, you can stay in a hotel in Dubai. The food there, an Uber ride from your hotel to the mall is like $5. It's cheap, right? You just have to get there. I mean, there's all kind of places you could go. Right?
When we were in South Africa, the whole time that we Ubered, and we Ubered quite a bit, it didn't even come up to $100 the whole time we were there. We had to Uber back and forth. So everything, was really cheap. I mean, we stayed in the penthouse in the fashion district in South Africa or Johannesburg, and they had one for sale for like $17,000 in South Africa.
Yeah. So you got to get out. Somebody said Thailand is beautiful, like Phuket. And you guys, you hear people say, when I went to Bangkok, people said, oh, be careful. Thailand is a mess. No, it's not. Bangkok is 24 hours a day, all day. If you want to have something to eat at 4 a.m., it's there. You want to get a massage at 2 a.m., it's there. If you want to go dancing at 6 a.m., you name it. Thailand is beautiful. So you just got to get out. And black people, somebody said black people need to travel more. Yes, we do. We are not. When I travel, I don't see us. You know what I do see, though, sometimes? It's groups of black women in like 3 or 4 or 5 packs. I don't see no man. I see just women traveling together. I don't know what that's about, but it would be nice to see more of us. And I think we as black people, if we traveled more, we would come back and really appreciate what we have here. And what I mean, when I say what we have here, I mean the power that we have here. I know right now there's a lot going on in the world, but black people, we have so much power right now. And they're bowing down to us. They're giving us money. Like, right now, they're donating money to all these organizations. And like, I think like even us here, we can start our own charity and we could so there's twofold here. I'm gonna just give you the math. Can we talk money here? Starting a charity is one of the most profitable things. Plus you can help all kinds of people. Do you realize that as a charity, if you're running a charity, you can pay yourself because somebody has to run the charity and you can help people. Instead of giving the money to the NAACP and all these organizations that have had the money for years and have done not much for black people, like we could run, or you can start your own nonprofit. You can help people, right? I don't believe in just giving people money, giving them food. Yeah, that's cool. But why don't you give them money and give them a skill? How cool would it be if everybody, all of a sudden, we started a business? And what if we all had our own businesses? Imagine that Gary D, Donovan, and everybody on here, I could just go on to somebody said start a Facebook group. I mean, I'm cool with that if you are, Gary. It's start a, and every time I need something, I say, hey, who's doing this? Right now I need a logo, right? I don't, Donovan, I don't know what's going on with your girl. I'm gonna give her one more shot. But man, I need like 4 logos. So if anybody on here does logos, hit me up. I need 4 logos. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I need a marketing. I need all kinds of stuff. It'd be nice to go and say, hey, who can do this? That's what the Jews do. Hey, you know what? I need some t-shirts made. Who does that? I need some hats. Anybody who makes hats, whatever it is. So we can do that, and that's what they talk
we
about.
We do t-shirts.
Huh?
We do t-shirts.
Okay. So, we can group economics and as keeping the money within us, and then it makes you feel better. Like I go and I get my nails and my feet done, and I always hear people say, "Oh, you go to the Asians." I have been looking for a black nail salon. There is none in my area. Right? So, and black women, I ain't gonna beat you up too bad, but as much as you do your hair and your nails, is there any black people that do hair and nails or do nails and pedicures and manicures? I mean, is it just the Koreans?
There's quite a few actually springing up now where we live, but it's no secret that the Asians, if you will, the Koreans have a lot on the market, but we do have some. But I think that people need to understand, because a lot of the pushback is, oh, well, the black nail salons and black businesses charge more. Well, it's like if we would all take our business over to the black salons, then the prices will go down. And naturally, they have to charge more because there's not a lot of us going into the shops like we go into the Asian shops. I mean, it's really, basic math if you think about it. But there's black women who obviously do hair and nails.
I mean, I would love to. I can tell you, just for me personally, you guys, there's a lot of people like that out there that get their, they want to get a manicure and a pedicure. It'd be nice to have a black woman do that, or, I like to get a massage twice a week. I would love to get a massage by a black person, just to keep the money in the family. Black dude cuts my hair. Those guys are easy to find, right?
Yeah, y'all really need to take his advice, because some of y'all been climbing trees.
Yeah, like and let me just see. As men, we don't really have this problem, but women, you guys, like black women, have the power on this planet. Companies want to deal with black women. Period. They do. They would rather deal with the black woman over a black man for all kind of reasons. One, they don't want the woman falling over some dude, right? They like to deal with women because women seem to think more rational. But women, you have to stop putting roadblocks in the way. Like, I had a girl tell me, I'm getting my hair done today. I can't meet with you. I said, you have a meeting with the financial planner to the stars and you tell them you got a hair appointment? Like, that's why you broke. You know what I'm saying? And then we as black people, we have a nail salon. We need to open on time. Color people time is cool as a joke, but not cool when you got to be at work at 10:30 and your appointment's at 9:30 and your person get there at 11:45. Right? It ain't all the white man's fault. We have to take some responsibility for some of this stuff. Right? So we have to be, and it has to start right now, you guys. I swear to you, if somebody will inbox me and say, I do hair and nails, I will send my people to you. You do feet and manicures, massage, whatever it is. I'm looking for a car wash guy right now. Right, me and my son, we're closing a car business, but right now we got 7 cars that need to be washed at like $30. Right? Like, where's the black car wash dude? I'll send it to him. That's $200. I mean, I don't mind spending money with our people, and I think more black people want to do that. So, but we have to open these businesses. And we need to do it now, you guys. Right now, the whole world is looking at black people. When I walk through the street and I see white people, they damn near bow to me right now. Some of it's out of fear. Some of it's out of guilt. I don't care what it is. Why are you bowing? Dig in your pocket and pay me. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, this is, if you, and I don't want to milk the cow, but if you have a black business, this is your time. Because companies are giving money, they're looking for black businesses. This is not going to last a long time. I can promise you. It's going to go away. And the whole thing with reparations, in my opinion, you're getting reparations right now. You're getting advice on how to make yourself better financially. There's just so many opportunities right there for money. What you have to do is turn off the TV. You have to surround yourself with people that are doing better. You guys, somebody was like, oh, what's on? Have you seen this show? Hell no, I haven't seen that show. I'm trying to get rich and wealthy. I'm saying, you know, I got a father that's almost 80 years old. I know I'm gonna have to start taking care of him. I need to do. My sister knows what I'm talking about. Like every time my sister called me, I go, okay, is today the day? Is my father moving in with me? So I mean, we need to take care of our people. And then I want to talk about something that's close to me. Is you guys, you got to go out and get life insurance. You got to go out and get critical illness insurance, heart attack, stroke. Like,
Fish dinners ain't working no more.
I mean, you guys, one of my buddies died, and he's a good friend of mine. And, you know, his father, we tried to get life insurance on him, and his father just decided he wanted to live that lifestyle where he couldn't get it. And so he passed away a couple of days ago, and he's doing a GoFundMe. And he called me, and he was heartbroken. And I think he's coming over tonight. We're going to pour out a little liquor for his pops. But, like, he was heartbroken. And he was like, we're doing it. And I said, you're doing a GoFundMe. And I can just hear the silence in his voice, because me and him always say, if I die, there's no car wash. We're not doing a GoFundMe. We're not doing that shit. We're not doing that to our kids. Like, you're on this planet all this time. You can't pay $20 a month to leave your family $500,000. I put a post on Facebook today, and my boy sent it to me. He said, you know how you save Black people is you get them all life insurance. And then you let the life insurance companies worry about it, because they're not going to be writing all those checks. They will take care of us. And I know it was kind of a weird, funny post, but like, money talks, period. You understand what I'm saying? So get life insurance. I have this thing that we like to say is peace of mind is the best interest rate. Even if you don't have a lot of money, and some people will never have a lot of money, but if you have $2,000 a month coming through the door, could you live a decent life? Like, could you rent a room for $400? You better not kiss that cat, right? Could you put that cat down? That's some rich people stuff. So, could you live? Could you rent a room? Yes, you could. When I was young, I rented a room. I have no shame. I rented a room until I was doing better. Me and my 4 kids and my wife at the time, we were in a 2-bedroom. And me and my kids talk about that to this day. But we saved our money, and we ultimately bought a house, right? So you need to cut your expenses. Some of you guys, is that for me? Okay. That's
whenever you get through.
I'm sorry?
Whenever you get through.
Oh, go for it. No.
No, I try to tell people about insurance because, you know, they crying about taxes now. What about when you die? They tax you more in death than when you heal. Yes. You got to set it up the right way. If they don't understand, and me and you were talking about this last night, and IUL, I try to tell people about this. Man, OJ went to jail with IULs. Y'all trying to figure out why Nicole family couldn't touch his money. They couldn't get to his IULs. But he came out of jail with more money than when he went in.
Yeah.
What insurance does that? So if y'all around here paying that little man that come knock on your door every Saturday, he ain't getting nothing out the deal.
Wow.
You better learn. And you tell me if I get this wrong, Walter. A lot of Black people don't know about IULs, but I tell you, them Asians do.
Okay. Life insurance is where rich people put their money. Now, I'll tell you how it works. So, for instance, if you go to FDIC.gov, that's where the banks, you can go there, and the banks put all their financial information on this website. So what happens is you can go to FDIC.gov and you can see where the banks have their money. There's a line item that says life insurance cash value. The banks know that they can put money in, and Gary's talking about the index universal life. It's life insurance. It's the cash value is indexed to the stock market, and it's universal. So because it's flexible, you can put more money in, you can raise the death benefit. But the money's tied to the stock market, but you'll never lose. There's a minimum guarantee, so you'll never lose money. So me, I put about $1,000 a month in my life insurance every single month. And I know I'm never going to lose money. And if I die, my kids are millionaires. If I have a stroke, I'm safe. If I have a heart attack, if I have a critical illness, they're going to cut me a check so I can still travel, eat out. I can still have my masseuse come to my house. All that stuff I can do. And it's
Terry said his mom did that for 20 years, and when she passed away, it was only worth $3,500. First of all, that was not an IUL. I can tell you that wasn't an IUL.
Yeah.
An IUL has a floor. What he's telling you, no matter how much money you put in there, you ain't gonna lose your money.
Yeah.
Your money is safe. You cannot lose it. Now hold on a second. I'm the hood dude on the show. How the hell I know this and y'all don't?
Yeah.
Because I've been hanging around them Asians, my Republican friends.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to life insurance, you have to have the right insurance. They went to all the black communities and they sold them these little whole life policies. And black people seem to buy insurance, life insurance based on fear. And so they sell us these little policies that are $5,000, $10,000. That ain't gonna do nothing for you. I mean, it'll help you, but you'll pay 20 years for a policy for $5,000. You know, you'll spend $10,000 on a $5,000 policy. No, if you buy life insurance, make sure it's enough to bury you, leave your family enough money to be comfortable. I mean, like,
I think the confusion comes in with life insurance because people don't know what it's actually for. It's to replace the income that is gone when you leave. So if your wife lived a certain way, if you were married and you die, that life insurance, yes, is to put you in the ground. But if you have kids that got to go to college, why should the goal stop? Because you passed away. You need to have enough insurance to cover all of that. You cannot be selfish in life and leave your family stuck when you die. Because I always tell people, Walter, black people it's something they're going to do for you when you die. They leave their kids a whole lot of debt. White folk leave their kids trust funds. We leave our kids debt.
And you know what? And we don't have to do that. You guys, seriously, you can leave. Like, and so having life insurance for me isn't all that sexy because if I die, but whatever, I'm gone. But my kids will be taken care of. But you know what I also do? I have life insurance on all my kids, right? If you are married, you should have life insurance on your spouse. You need to have life insurance on your parents. See, because here's how different people do it. Let's say, for instance, right, one of my kids passes away, or one of my grandkids. Like if one of my grandkids passed away, or one of my kids, I'm not going to work tomorrow, right? Like, think about this. Some people are worse off losing a kid than a spouse, because if one of your kids dies, it's a wrap. You can replace a spouse. I've met people whose husband and wife died and they just got remarried. When your kid dies, me and my sister went to this church called New Jerusalem. And I remember both of her twins got hit by a car at the same time. I can tell you, she has never been the same person. Every birthday, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every time she sees a kid, every time she sees twins, it goes through her mind. It's affecting her mentally. She is not going to perform in life, most likely. What if she had life insurance on those kids? And I know people say, oh, don't insure your kids, because that's just dumb. Some of you guys have to wash that stuff out. I have life insurance on my kids, not because I want them to die. One, if one of them does pass away and I need to take a year to get my stuff together and I need to go to an island somewhere in Mexico and mourn, I want to be able to do that properly. I don't want to bury a kid and then have to take my black ass to work next week because I couldn't pay $20 to make sure they had insurance. You know what I'm saying? You can do that with your parents. You can do that with you, with your family members.
You know, another thing we got to stop doing, Walter, and I think a lot of y'all learned this the hard way with the pandemic. Stop stop all that banking on the insurance you get through your job. So what happened when they furloughed you? What happened when you lost your job? You ain't had no more insurance. Say, man, get you some outside insurance, especially life insurance, and do what you do. Now, if you're smart, if you get out of here and you do the research, as much money as some of y'all paying through y'all job, you get that outside your job. You see what I'm saying? You get all that outside your job, what you paying for. And some of y'all paying $300-$400 a week to these companies, man.
That's insane. Yeah,
but you gotta stop hollering, oh, I got insurance on my job. Some of y'all ain't got no job right now. And I ain't buying no fish sandwich.
Yeah, and you don't have insurance. And the other reason I got life insurance on my kids, so when they grow up, they already have it for their family to be protected. Because now people are getting illnesses, and they're getting, like when I was a kid, kids didn't have diabetes. We didn't have, and when I was going to school, we had the fat kid. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's half the kids are overweight, and kids have illnesses that they didn't have when I was in school. Kids didn't have diabetes and heart disease and all these things they got right now. So, like, if I insure my kid, like my daughter Morgan is 15, right? She's like the coolest kid. She's my favorite. I have life insurance on her. Not because I'm thinking more as she gets older, she already has insurance to protect her family. Plus, I can put money in it for her future. I can go to my daughter Morgan when she's 25, 30 and say, hey, you know what? I've been putting $200 a month away, $100 a month away for you. And here's $50,000. It's yours. You pay on it. And the $50,000 is yours to do what you want. And you have life insurance. But I need to educate her along the way so she don't just she don't blow it. Does that make sense? So make a long story short, get insurance is easy. Get that out of your life so we can focus on something more fun. Like me and Donovan talking, my sister knows don't call me before 1 p.m. because that's when I'm trading the stock market. But at 1:03, my phone rang today. Right? And so that's the other thing too, you guys. You have to set boundaries. I like to say this. Here's a shirt, Donovan. No is a complete sentence. I can't do it right now. Right? People say, well, I can't save money because my family always borrows it from me. My family know if they call me to borrow money, I all of a sudden develop a bad connection. I don't like to loan people money. I'm like, I woke up at 5 a.m. You could do that too if you chose to. Don't call. I don't want to work my ass off and then give you the money. What kind of sense does that make? Now things come up, I get it, but come on, man. Seriously.
Sing this with me, man. Sing this with me. I gotta teach you how to sing it.
Yeah, what's the word?
Giving them a goddamn thing.
And it sucks, but it's tough love, but it's the way it has to be. So right now, and Black people, seriously, we are in a position of power. I know sometimes I'm hard on like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all those guys. And I've met those guys, right? And I think if they knew what to do with money, they would be rich already. When I say rich, I mean powerful rich, right? Because the only time I see Jesse and Al Sharpton, I know they have their movements, but wouldn't it be nice if Al Sharpton jumped on TV and goes, hey, here's my bank statements, here's my investments, here's where I put my money. If you guys give the Action Network $100 million, here's what I'm going to do with it. We're not going to keep pouring it into all these. I can't tell you, and I don't mean to sound like a reckless, and I'll get to you, D, but I don't know what the NAACP is doing with this money. Like, it's insanity. Give it to the business leaders. If you're the type of person that will paint the street instead of buying a Black business, then you don't need to be in power, right?
You're giving them too much game, big dog.
I know I am.
Game is to be sold, not told.
Yeah. So so right now I'm just giving you a precursor. I mean, I have a list of 100 things you could do to get your life in order. When we do this call, I'll have the class prepared. But you guys, this is the best time to become wealthy. I'm telling you guys, like, and I know me, D, Donovan, we talk about money all the time. That's what I mean, Donovan. Like, I'm trying to remember where I met Donovan. But like, We talk
high
about
school, high school.
I know we went to high school, but I'm just saying, like, me and Donovan, we connect. Like, he puts up his prospectuses, and I'm going to this annual meeting, and like, I like that, and it's cool. People say, well, money is not everything. It's not, but it's up there with oxygen, right? Money, Black people, when we get our money together, we will be unstoppable. We need to stop begging. We need to stop asking like Oliver Twist.
They gonna start cussing you out, man.
Yeah, white people got their own problems, and honestly, to some degree, and I know some people, white people say it ain't, it wasn't my ancestors, and I get it. And it's kind of like us. We can't be responsible for the brother that stole the purse. So to some degree, we as Black people have to open up just a little bit, because I grew up around white people. It was like 6 people, Black kids in my whole school, I think, the whole time until I moved to Riverside. And I gotta tell you, when we get some time, I'll tell you how my sister did the disco to Another One Bites the Dust. Oh man, talking about hiding under the bench. Anyways, I'll never forget that. That's insane.
Final thoughts, y'all, too. Donovan and D'Amico.
Hey, real quick, just for me, the one thing I always say when it comes to stocks and how I really got into it, because I had a fidelity account with a broker. And I'm just going off what he said because I'm too busy working and doing what I have to do. But with these apps and stuff, there's no excuse. Start where you are, and just use your common sense. If you know hair, get into hair products. Look up hair stocks. If you're into, water, look up water stocks. Just start where you are. And if you have kids and grandkids, start teaching them. Take out stocks for them, because remember, investing is a long-term situation. There is no overnight $1 million stock. There is no such thing. But just start where you are. 1/3 of all white wealth is investments in the stock market.
And I would just say this, my mother, God rest her soul, would always say there's money everywhere. Figure out what you know how to do and find people that'll pay you to do what you know how to do. You might be good at watching some people kids. You might be good at, baking cakes or whatever. Like, we all have talents and things that are born to us and things that we learn how to do. I always tell people about my brother here. Don't let the suits fool you. He knows how to fix cars because my father was a mechanic, and he learned how to do those things. And so we all have something we know how to do. There's money everywhere. And I swear for God, when there was times when I didn't have a lot of money, I would always think about what my mom would say. There's money everywhere. And I would figure, like Walter said, I would figure out what it is I knew how to do, and I will hustle and I'd make it happen. So we all know how to do something. So there's never excuse for not getting what we need and what we want, right?
Yeah. And then here's a closing thought for me is, you guys, right now, while the world is feeling, the world is on our side, I think this is a good time to unite. And what I would say is, go to your relatives, go to your friends, family, and tell them what you are thinking. Like, hey, grandma, I want to start a business. I need $5,000. Don't ask her to loan you the money. Ask her to invest in your company. Like, I told somebody today on the phone, she goes, I want to start a business. I said, let me know. Maybe I'll invest in your business. I'm a businessman. If you got a company and you need $1,000 to get it off the ground, I'll cut you a check. Make me a partner. Like, partner, you do your part. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I want to be, because I want to invest in stuff. And so if one of my kids came to me, or my grandkid was like, I can't wait. I'm excited about my grandkids getting, actually I'm not, because that means I'm older. But let's say my grandson came to me, was like, hey, Grandpa, I'm starting a business. I need $5,000. Do you think I would hesitate? And he was like, I want you to be my partner. Here's the idea. Can you help me with it? Some of you guys have grandparents and aunts and uncles who you can call, and they're going to die with this money. You can go into business with your family members. I know people say, blood and water, whatever, but I think you should go for it. All they can do is say no. And then last thing I want to say is imagine that you are already wealthy and you don't have to be rich to be wealthy. Do you understand if you have $2,000 a month coming in the door and your bills are only $1,200, you are wealthy. Only thing wealth means is you have enough money to take care of you without working for it. So if you own a house that's paying you $2,000 in rent and your expenses are $1,200, you're done. You're wealthy. Like if I'm getting Social Security and I'm 62 and I'm only getting $1,600 a month, and I can move to Cancun and get a house on the beach for $400, and I can get a wife for $300, and I can get like my food and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? For like $1,200, I have $400 left. I know I'm being kind of funny, but believe me, when you go down to Mexico, you go to the Philippines, I'm sure they got places like this in Africa too, right? They look for us. You know, like you can be wealthy. You don't need, some of you guys make enough money. All you need, here's what I want you to do. Look at all your bills and go, do I need to make this car payment? Do I need these credit cards? Some of you have money in your 401k or in the bank, and you can pay off your credit cards. But if you pay off those credit cards, you better not touch them because you're going to be in a worse situation, right? So, anyways, I hope you guys had some fun tonight. I hope this was a little more structured than it was last night. And the next week we can talk about real estate. I'm buying a house in Texas. We're buying a couple houses in Texas. I can tell you how I'm doing that with next to no money. So
I tell y'all what, man, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
and lacing the game up. Y'all see the stock market class will be June 27th. My man gonna put it all together. Cost is $25. I don't have to worry about it. I know a few people on here that paid their money tonight. I paid mine. Carla's paid hers. I mean, it's a bunch of people that paid. I'm in the dope. So I'm not gonna keep talking. I talk like a G, but I walk like one too. So to let y'all know, man, we definitely gonna have a war zone in Tulsa, Oklahoma next week for the Trump rally.
I'm gonna be there.
Well, come on, hang out with me. I'm going to meet my people.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm gonna be jamming that Webby. I got my people with me. Yeah. I'm gonna be in Tulsa next week with my people. See if I can find me a Make America Great Again cap. And think I'm playing with y'all? I ain't dealing with them Democrats no more, man. So we're gonna be there, and we may be broadcasting live from Seattle in about a week. If it keep doing what it's doing in Seattle, then is what it is, man. And you know how we do. We gonna bring you the real that you not gonna see on TV. We gonna bring you the real that you not gonna see on TV. And also, last thing, remember July 4th. Close the top on the pit. Get to a computer, cause the minister is gonna speak. Yeah. I'm telling you, you want to hear from your black leadership? July 4th, the minister is gonna speak, and that's what it is, man. So I'm gonna shock the world with some of the things that I do, man. But I appreciate all y'all tuning in every night, man. It's an honor. I love working with these two people, man. And the crazy part, we ain't never drunk a shot of Crown together yet. But one day we will be in the jungles of Africa, bucket naked, getting full of water. Say, man, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. It's the hottest show on social media, man. Now my man is telling you what to do with your money. I want to say thank you to my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Demetra K, financial guru Walter Coulter. Tomorrow night, I ain't black. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm not black. Tomorrow night, I'm finna shock the world, man. I'm finna shock the world. So y'all get ready. I'm going to get my Make America Great Again cap. And I'm headed to Tulsa, Oklahoma to hang out with the man, Big Daddy Trump, next Friday night. I told you, Democrats, till tomorrow night, I holler, man.